Hi, my name is Michael Dobson. I'm the president and CEO of the Dream Foundation. We are a statewide not-for-profit with a mission solely focused on promoting the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. statewide in Florida. We are also the creators of the nation's first of its kind specialty license tag, the Live the Dream plate that bears the image of Dr. Martin Luther King. It's been in Florida tag offices since 2004. I'm not here to talk about the license tag today, but I did want to talk about coronavirus and its impact on the African American community. We all have been looking at our television sets and reading our newspapers, and we've been alarmed at the news that coronavirus has disproportionately impacted the African American community. When the numbers first came out, we thought it was just some trend that would change, but it didn't. It continued. It made me think about a visit to my doctor's office about a year ago for my annual physical examination. My doctor, when he came back to me, he said that he was shocked and surprised. He couldn't believe that a black man at my age didn't have diabetes or high blood pressure. He talked about it as though it was normal, that it was expected. So when I think about that, we know who the vulnerable are. Our doctor's offices know it. Our public health departments know it. Our Florida Department of Health, ACA, the records are there. And we know their addresses. So it's head scratching to me as to why haven't we tried to get coronavirus tests to those individuals immediately, since we know exactly who they are. It's kind of akin to a mob hitting. You know, that mob hit where the guy gets on his knees and the other guy puts a gun to his head and blows his brains out. Well, this is exactly what this is kind of doing. And you have to ask ourselves why. So I implore Governor DeSantis and our leaders in the state of Florida and leaders around the country to find ways to focus their attention to getting coronavirus tests to those individuals, to that population immediately. That population who they know exactly who they are, the records are there. So if you're not doing it, the question becomes why, which is a good question. I hope we can get this done. We know exactly who's vulnerable. Now, on the issue of voting, over the last week or so, we've talked about voting on the national levels, specifically targeting toward the November elections. And we talked about issues of whether or not voting should be done in person or whether we're going to have mail-in ballots. But I'm not going to talk about that particular part of it today. I want to talk about something more specific to Florida. In Florida, as you know, in 2018, voters overwhelmingly approved Amendment 4. And what Amendment 4 was to reverse what was a centuries-old scheme to disenfranchise 1.4 million voters. And the voters overwhelmingly said they wanted it reversed. But when it got to the Florida legislature, our legislature and our governor thought otherwise. And instead of adhering to the voters' intent, they embarked on a wholesale voter suppression effort, beginning with tying the issue up in court. And the federal courts have pushed back quite a bit. But here's what I'm going to ask our governor, and I'll just be clear. Governor, I ask you to please channel your inner Lincoln. Channel Abraham Lincoln, the Abraham Lincoln that freed the slaves, the Abraham Lincoln that some may call the father of your party. Channel him and let our people vote. Now, on the issue of the economics and opening the economy, here's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about something that Tip O'Neill famously said. He said that all politics is local. When we really get into those discussions about reopening the economy and what that's going to look like, at the end of the day, that's going to be driven by local leaders. it's going to be a local decision. It's going to be a local decision as to what that's going to look like. So I asked African American leaders from around the state and leaders in various organizations and leaders all around the country to engage your local government and to demand that you have a seat at the table when those discussions are had, to demand that you're there alongside with your chamber of commerce, alongside with your banking community, alongside with all the other business leaders in your community and the political leaders, that you're at the table and that you're engaged in those discussions as well. Now, I want to end by saying Happy Easter. I want to say Happy Easter to my love, Donna Cartero. And I want to say Happy Easter to my children, Mia, Noah, and Michaela. And I want to say Happy Easter to my grandchildren, Mara, Tyree, Arya, Bishop, and Araya. And Happy Easter to everybody, and God bless you.